This presentation will be a brief look into Schitt Creek's depiction of David and Patrick's relationship and what impact that representation has both on and off screen for the LGBTQ community. David and Patrick's relationship occurs in season 3 of Schitt Creek. Starting as a business relationship, it quickly becomes one of love, comfort, and acceptance. They are frequently depicted kissing, hugging, and lying in bed together, rarely seen despite how normal it is for couples on TV, as well as exploring other areas of their lives, such as a possible threesome with another man, discussing babies, getting married, and buying a house together. In an article from Pink News, Noah Reid, who plays Patrick, said that he didn't want to play Patrick a certain way based on his sexuality as a straight man. He felt like Patrick is just a guy who's attracted to another guy. A common theme of the show's relationships is how fluid they are and how accepting everyone is of each other. Following a brief relationship with his eventual best friend, Stevie Budd, played by Emily Hampshire, David sets the tone for Schitt Creek's unique way of handling sexuality, stating, "I like the wine and not the label." Dan Levy, who plays David, stated that he didn't write him as a political statement. It was just who David was in his head. However, he was shocked at how novel this seemed to people. The way David described his sexuality is discussed naturally in the scene, eloquently acting as a shorthand for representation and inclusivity, normalizing without coming across as preachy. Dustin Mulligan, who plays Ted Mullins, states that he thinks that this is why people are responding to it. It's a tipping point to a certain degree. Enough is enough. We can live this way. Take a look. In the world of Schitt Creek, homophobia doesn't exist, which is a thought echoed throughout the documentary, as well as in multiple articles and responses online. It would just never have occurred to me that it's better to do a show where there is no homophobia than to do a show that speaks to it and talks about how it does. This is like a paradigm shift, says Emily Hampshire. In the documentary, Dan mentions that he got a tweet from someone saying that they used the wine metaphor to come out to their family. This emphasizes the power of the show and the impact of 8 small words on a whole community of people. One of the more memorable scenes in the show, the open mic night, cements Patrick as David's best match. He serenades the attention-averse David in front of a room full of people, unapologetically showing his love. When you see gay relationships on screen, they're often portrayed through a lens of tragedy or strife or struggle, says Philip Picardi. Look at all we had to overcome to love each other. It felt like this moment where we got to see ourselves just being in love and being joyful. This scene can be considered a watershed moment in queer representation in television history. It's the norm, and is never challenged. Rachel Geese notes that even though the show doesn't depict homophobia, David still feels familiar and accessible to the audience. It's the result of a life of not seeing yourself. It's a life of not being told that your love matters. Most notably, for the season finale, there were various billboards in Los Angeles showcasing the couple kissing, representation that Dan recalls never having been seen before. This billboard became a place for people to celebrate love, taking pictures and posting them online, tagging Dan and the rest of the crew. The cast also attended Toronto Pride in 2018, receiving an incredible welcome and showcasing their Into the Wine, Not the Label t-shirts. To those who disagree or don't understand, Dan states that, "We're not teaching them a lesson, we're showing them what life could be." While Catherine O'Hara, who plays Moira Rose, says, "It's just an example of how life can be. And you're laughing. What better way to open someone's heart and soul?" Again, by giving people a space to feel safe to explore and question, it promotes acceptance and safety, which echoes the message of the show. Dan Levy and Noah Reid can also be seen on the cover of Entertainment Weekly, paying homage to romance films such as Casablanca and Notting Hill. Alongside this, they feature trying wedding cakes in a YouTube video on the channel. Having representation such as this through mainstream media is groundbreaking and helps normalize people being unapologetically themselves. In a radio interview, Annie Murphy, who plays Alexis Rose, talks about how they've gotten letters from people who have been given the courage from watching the show to come out to their families, or parents who have accepted their children after seeing how Johnny and Moira have treated their queer son. In the Schitt Creek documentary, there is mention of a Facebook group of LGBTQ mums who sent a letter to Dan to thank him for his work in making the world a better place for their children. Emily Hampshire herself discusses in an interview with the Gay Times that the show helped her come out as pansexual. In 2019, an article wrote about some controversy that arose after 4Music edited out David's kiss with another man, as well as a scene where David jokes about sleeping with Patrick. Dan took to Twitter to dispute this and received huge praise for pointing out the homophobia. Hundreds of videos on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram can be found showcasing compilations of David and Patrick's love. The fan reaction on websites such as Twitter and Reddit are also huge, with people even creating merchandise celebrating the couple and their love. The show has won 9 Emmys and is seen as a move in the right direction for diversity and inclusivity in television history.